Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. If you'd like to follow along, we'll be looking in the 25th chapter and beginning in the 7th verse this morning. And if you will, like, share, comment on the post. And then we have these words in Genesis 25, beginning in verse 7. And we see there, these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, 175 years. Abraham breathed his last and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. Isaac and Ishmael, his sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, east of Mamre, the field that Abraham purchased from the Hittites. There Abraham was buried with Sarah, his wife. And so this account obviously is pretty clear what it's dealing with. It's dealing with the death of Abraham, a man that is known as a man of great faith. Several things, just kind of summarizing Abraham's life here. One of them is that it says that he lived a long life. It stresses that he lived a long life, 175 years, died in a good old age, an old man full of years. Why does it keep stressing that fact? Because God had promised him a long life, and so it's reminding us that God did honor that promise to Abraham as well. A couple interesting things you may find interesting about the death of Abraham at 175 years. This is 100 years after he came to Canaan. So he was there 100 years. It is 75 years after Isaac was born. It is 38 years after Sarah had passed away. It was 35 years after the marriage of Isaac and Rebekah. It is roughly about 15 years after the birth of Jacob and Esau, so they had an opportunity to know their grandfather. And again, full of years, just as God had promised him that he would have those years. There had been some hard years, some difficult years. He had had some trials. He had made some mistakes. But again, he had a testimony, as we have seen others call him, talk about his God. He was gathered to his people, it says. And so these are some, I think, very important words. They don't mean just that he was buried with his family. He didn't have any people there other than Sarah. And so these words are referring to life after death, that he was gathered to the believers who had gone on before him. And that great lesson that we see in the life of Abraham. And I guess there's not a whole lot of lesson here. This is kind of more of an informational passage of how we do have this where this transition is going to come, as Abraham now will be off of the scene, but it does remind us again of the promises of God, the faithfulness of God. Another little interesting thing is that we see that Isaac and Ishmael were at the funeral, and so there appears to be some reconciliation. Don't know, but whether they made up or just came together for the funeral, as sometimes happens even today. And then finally, ultimately, he was buried with his beloved wife, Sarah. And again, more information here about a transition in the story than anything. But it does, again, remind us of the faithfulness of God and how he honored his promise, again, several times, different ways, that it reminds us that Abraham had lived a long life, just as God had promised him, and God had told him, and then that great statement that he was gathered together with his people. My prayer today would be that everybody listening today is made plans, made arrangements, knows Christ as their Savior, so that when your years are full, that you too will be able to, it'll be able to be said to you that you were gathered to your people, gathered together with God and all his people. If you don't know Christ today, let me encourage you. I'd love to talk to you about it, or find a church or a pastor near you that can explain to you how when your years are full, you can be gathered to God. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.